Okay, guys, we are in lessons 4.2 and 4.3, and we're going to talk about a new form of writing equations, point-slope form. And remember what we talked about is that the name of the form usually reveals the information that we can find super easily in our in the equation. So I want to show you where the point-slope form comes from. Remember how if we take slope, we can use the coordinates of ordered pairs. Oops, sorry, that's supposed to be an x. Okay, so what we do is instead of using those, we're going to alter it slightly. We're going to use our two ordered pairs that we're going to use are going to be x and y and x sub 1, y sub 1. Okay? And then we're going to substitute those back in there. So I'm going to do it over here. So now m is going to be equal to, and we're going to put the first ordered pair in front. So let me get my frame here. Remember, it's always minus. And let's get his partner there with him. And then let's go ahead and get the y sub 1 and x sub 1. Okay? But I don't like that I have a fraction, so I'm going to clear the fraction by multiplying both sides by the x minus x sub 1. Actually, let me change the color there. We'll just do that. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is write out what I get. So I'm going to change the colors now back to the red and the blue. And don't forget that there's a minus in there. So we have x minus x sub 1. Okay, and then that equals, and then we would have a y, and then minus the y sub 1. Okay, now the only thing I have left to do is to turn it around. So I'm going to use a symmetric property and put the y in front. Y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Now, what's really cool is that this form reveals the slope of the line and it reveals coordinates of one ordered pair that's on that line. So m is the slope. And then x sub 1, y sub 1. That's a point on the line. So the point-slope form actually comes from the slope formula. Interesting, huh? Okay. So that's where that comes from. So it reveals the information to us. All right? So what we're going to do is practice taking and writing equations different ways. So all this is a form. So what we learn this for is how to pull out an ordered pair when it's written in this form and how to write equations. In fact, this is the gateway equation. if I'm trying to write an equation, if they want me to write it in slope-intercept form or in standard form, I always start with point-slope form. Now, a lot of you last year were taught how to figure out what the y-intercept is if you know an ordered pair that's on the line and the slope. And so that then you'd figure out the y-intercept, then you'd plug it into y equals mx plus b. But I'm going to show you a whole different way to solve this. So we're going to do 3 different examples. And example 1 is going to ask you to find, or no, not find. Write an equation given slope and a point. Now I'm going to be honest with you, your book likes to take everything to slope-intercept form, and the reason for it is it's easy to graph, but you know what? You can graph just as easily using slope-intercept or point-slope form. The only problem you have to watch out for is signs, okay? Since the formula says negative, negative, if it's positive, that means the coordinate after that positive is negative. I know, crazy, huh? We'll give you examples, you'll see. Okay, so the given information, this is example 1. We've got this ordered pair. So, let's see, how would they say it? Let me add some words here. So it says write an equation given slope and a point. So this is what you're going to hear them say. Write an equation of the line that passes through the point 2, -8 and has a slope of 3/5. Okay, so they give me a point and a slope, point-slope form. All I have to do is substitute in and I'm done with it, okay? So that's where we're going to start with this one. So we have our frame, y minus the y-coordinate equals the slope times the quantity x minus the x-coordinate. So we're going to take, this is our x sub 1, y sub 1. So we're going to put those numbers in. Now with the y, it's a -8, and then the x, it's a +2. Okay. Then the slope, let's give it a nice pretty color, make it pink. This is going to be your slope, because they tell me that, right? So we're going to put 3/5 in the front. Now, this is not quite done, and that's because I have, on the left side, double sign, so I do have to fix that. So that's going to give me y plus 8 equals 3/5 times the quantity x minus 2. So what I've just done is I've written this in point slope form. Okay, now you'll see me call this PS, okay, for point slope. Now, if I wanted to go to standard form, or if I wanted to go to slope-intercept form, I'm going to use the same one, okay? So, let's go to slope-intercept form. Which remember is y equals mx plus b. So in other words, we're going to take this equation and we're going to solve it for y. And notice there's no parentheses on the other side. So the problem when I do this is sometimes I get some ugly looking numbers. That's okay. So let's see what we end up with. I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to get 3/5 times x is 3/5 x, and then minus, and this is really like 2 over 1, so that's going to be 3 times 2 is 6 over 5. And then all I'm going to do here is subtract 8 from both sides. But to subtract 8, I'm going to change it into a fraction with 5 in the denominator. So that would be 40, because 40 divided by 5 is 8. So I have a negative 6/5 and a negative 40/5. So that's going to give me y equals 3/5 x minus 46/5. I haven't done this. Let's go ahead and box up the final answers here. And that's my final answer for slope-intercept form. And then you will see me kind of SI, or S-I, okay? But what if I wanted to take this and put it into standard form? Well, first thing I need to remember are things that I can't have. And by that, I mean in standard form, not is it a linear equation or not. So one thing I can't have are fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of getting rid of fractions now. How? I'm going to multiply every term outside of the parentheses by 5. That's going to give me 5y plus 40 equals 3 times x minus 2. Then I'm going to distribute. 5y plus 40 is going to be equal to 3x minus 6. Then I need to get my x's and y's together. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'm going to get my constants together. Remember, constants go alone on the right. And I get negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 46. But I've got one more problem, and remember the x, the a term that's multiplying with the x, the front term has to be positive. So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1, or I could divide everything by negative 1. And that would give me 3x minus 5y equals 46. Now, the only equation we cannot go directly into an answer, or well, minimum of work, would be standard form. There's no way I'm just going to be able to plug numbers in, okay? So remember standard form. X and y together on the left, constant on the right. So I'm going to just jot down a couple things. X and y on left. Constant on right. X is in front of y. X is positive. No fractions, decimals. Oops, I'm cramming that over there. Okay, so we've already taken a lesson on standard form. We've already taken a lesson in slope-intercept form. All right, let's try another one. But this time I'm going to give you other pieces of information. The directions for number 2, they're going to give us 2 points. So we're going to write an equation given 2 points. So this is kind of what we're doing, but let me give you the directions you're most likely going to hear. So the directions you're most likely going to hear are going to be write the equation of the line that passes through the point 47 and the point -8, -9. Okay? All right, so to do point slope, I need to know a point and a slope. Well, I definitely have a point. In fact, I have a choice of 2. So what I need to do first is I need to figure out what's the slope. So that's job 1. Find slope first. Okay, so to do slope, we're going to take our 2 ordered pairs and we're going to put them in the formula. Slope is y over x, y over x, connect and subtract. Now notice I have double signs, so this is really equal to 7 plus 9 over 4 plus 8, which is going to give me 16 over 12, and then I'm going to simplify. They both have a 4 in common, and I'm going to get 4 over 3. Never, ever, ever write the slope as a mixed number. Okay? Now we have a choice. We have 2 ways to write this equation in point slope form. We have, oops, I don't need that. We have y, and I'm going to take the first point, minus 7 equals, then I'm going to just get my frame in here. Let's see, our slope we just figured out was 4/3. And then it's x minus 4. And all I did was plug numbers in. Done. Okay? Now let's see. Ooh, that's terrible. Sorry about that. And then, but I could do it with the other ordered pair. So I'm going to get my frame in. And I'll put in those coordinates. And we have -9 and -8. So notice we've got a little bit of problem here. So we're going to take those signs and they're going to become positives. So I'm going to get y plus 9. And then, let's see, do I want to make it orange? Nah, I'll just leave it black. That's fine. Equals, oh, I forgot the slope. 4/3. And then I would have 4/3 times the quantity x plus 8. Okay, now, is any one better than the other? And the answer is no. But which one would I choose to do? The guy with the positive coordinates, so I don't have to deal with that double negative. That's just me. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this and let's go to point slope or slope-intercept form. Oops, sorry, wrong color. Okay, and then we've got y minus 7 equals 4/3 times the quantity x minus 4. Now, I'll be honest with you. What some people do is they eliminate the fraction by multiplying everything outside the parentheses by 3, do the math, and then divide and end up creating a fraction. I want to show you that strategy. So you understand what I'm talking about. Now you're going, wait a second, isn't slope-intercept form supposed to be 3 or just y by itself? Yeah, but we'll get there. So this is what we have left when we multiply each of the terms outside the parentheses by 3. Remember, the parentheses are like Superman's force field. You cannot get through. So we distribute, and we get 4x minus 16. Now, we're slowly going to work our way to get y alone. So I add 21 to both sides. That gives me 3y equals 4x. And then that's going to be difference, bigger numbers positive, so that'd be plus 5. And then we have to divide everything by 3. So that's y by itself. And look what we're creating. We're creating the slope we knew we should be getting. And we didn't have to hassle to try to figure out what that guy equaled. Okay? So that's going to be your slope-intercept form. Okay? I'm just going to put over here. Slope I. And then we can also go to standard form. Now, sometimes you'll only be asked for one form. Sometimes you'll be asked for 2 forms. Sometimes all 3. So you got to be ready to do whatever the directions ask you to do. You don't get full credit if you don't do all the items. Okay. So standard form, I'm going to do like I did before. I'm going to multiply by the denominator because I know I can't have any fractions. That gives me the 3y minus 21 equals 4 times the quantity x minus 4. I'm going to distribute to get rid of the parentheses. So right now, I'm here. I've done those same 2 steps. Okay? I am going to get the constants together on the right. But unlike the other time, I want to get both variables together on the left. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That's inverse operations. And I get 4x. And there's no sign in front of the 3, so it's positive. And then that's good. Ooh, signs are the same, so I'm going to add, and I get negative 37. The only problem is that I have a negative for my a, and I can't have that. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. And I get 4x minus 3y equals positive, oops, try to add a number there, positive 37. And so that's standard form. And sometimes I abbreviate it standard form. Okay? Now the last thing I'm going to do is go on to the next page and we're going to do a graph. So let me put up some graph paper. I think, yeah, no. Yeah, I think that's, no. Yeah, I like that one better. Okay. So in this one, we're going to graph. So this is example 3 from point slope form. Because remember, all we need to graph is a point and a slope. That's the minimum of what we need. Okay? So the directions are going to say graph y minus 1 equals 2 times the quantity x plus 2. Okay, so this is something you need to understand. Okay, are you ready? I need to know what my point is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of my pieces that involves a variable and solve it. I'm not solving for an intercept. I'm just trying to figure out the coordinates. So the y-coordinate is 1. And this is what I do so I don't make careless mistakes with signs. And I get my x is -2. So that means the point is -2, 1. Slope is just what's in front of the parentheses. But remember, even with slope-intercept form, we need to turn slope into a fraction, so it gives me a rise and run number to go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do my graph here. Let's see, we got negatives. I guess we could just do like this. Now, even though I may not put tick marks on all of these, x on the right, y on the top, I'm still going to have arrow caps. I saw some people not do arrow caps. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to go -2. So, -2, 2, 4. 4. I don't think I'm going to go negative on the y's. So I'm going to start with the point. So I go -2, 1. So that's here. Then I'm going to do rise over run. The 2 tells me to rise up 2, and the 1 tells me to run to the right 1. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to rise up 2 and to the right 1, and it takes me to that point. Now all I have to do is to connect. Let's see. Okay, and that's all I need to graph from point slope form. All right, there you guys go. Have fun with this. Bye now.